therapist didn't charge for 19 months, and I'm now hit with a $7,000 bill. My insurance isn't covered with his office, and I've seen my therapist once a month for about a year and a half. We agreed on lowered rate due to self-pay. I asked on our sessions multiple times how to pay and gave my card info multiple times to him. Months pass, and Dr. Slacker finally got his shit together only to stab my eyes with this huge bill. I reached out stating the above reduced rate and asked why each month is quadruple billed. If I am negotiating down, I still don't think I can afford this, nor is it fair. Do I have rights to refuse and let collections just take it over? I should add, it was supposed to be 100 per session once monthly. In reviewing the bill I received, it's listed for the insurance rate, which is double, but then each session is listed twice. Are they trying to charge interest or something? I have set aside money for the $100 per session x 19 months.
Well, it sounds like his billing is a fudging soda show, so I'll lean toward his billing is a fudging soda show rather than him trying to screw you over. So I'd call or email promptly and talk to either him or, if he has one, an office manager and basically be very clear. Dear Dr. Doesn't Bill, I recently received a bill from your office for $7,000. As we discussed previously, our agreed upon rate was to be $100 per session, of which my records show there have been 19, for a total of $1,900. I will gladly and immediately pay this amount if you would be so kind as to send me an updated invoice reflecting our previously agreed rates.
I'd suggest emailing at least one time, as it will provide you with some paper trail. It would show you weren't trying to avoid payment, you were trying to make payment arrangements, and that you are generally a responsible and reasonable person. I understand some professionals are not super tech savvy, so calling as a follow-up isn't a bad idea. Just cover your bases a bit.
Fully agree with this approach. And if during the process you find yourself on the phone with them, remind them that you are a customer and they are a service provider. You wouldn't tolerate this from any other service provider. People seem to think doctors are untouchable, but they aren't. Online reviews hurt them just as much as any other small business. And get the full name of the office manager and billing admins. They have careers to manage too, and their names show up on a Google review just like a doctor's does. Don't lead with that. Lead with understanding, kindness, and documentation. But if they take the position of threatening collections, I'd pull that card. You might be surprised how quickly their tune changes when the marketing and office managers see a 1-star review hit, especially if others reply experiencing similar issues.
I sent a psychiatrist into retirement with a single eviscerating review that prompted others to share similar stories. Happened years after I left the practice when he asked my wife of 20 years, in front of a room full of people, why she didn't just leave me.
I'd love to hear a more expanded story about that.
He was a donkey. I had just had a brain tumor removed and needed help reorienting myself to the world. He began the very first session telling me how I could sit, and correcting me every time I went back to a seated position that was more comfortable. That's just a glimpse into the toxicity of the relationship over the next 2 years of monthly therapy. Over this time, he prescribed me Adderall at the behest of another doctor, none of whom described what I should be feeling. So I assumed the high I felt was supposed to last the whole time, and when I stopped feeling it, I requested a higher dose, which he provided, with no discussion or counseling. He finally stopped me at 40 millirounds. It was around this time I began to recover enough that I developed some backbone and told him face to face that I was leaving his practice for Dr. X across town. I live in such a small town that there were only 2 psychiatrists at the time. He said, "Go with God," and gave no med counseling to taper off of the Adderall or anything. Needless to say, Psych 2 wasn't having the Adderall, so she flat told me no, so I took what I had and tapered myself the best I could. It was a living hell for a few weeks. Now fast forward, and my wife is seeing a therapist in the same building as that psychiatrist. He suggests she be medicated, and says that he knows just the guy and can get her in right away.
That pill pushing is pretty scary, honestly. Giving pills to people who don't need them or don't need as much is really bad.
Did you get the payment agreement in writing? Medical billing can be outsourced, and deals between you and the doctor may not get sent over to the person plugging away at the bills. It's ripe for errors. The good news is that it can be fixed. You just have to speak with everyone involved. It will help even more if you have the pricing structure in writing. Always get that kind of negotiation in writing for both parties' sake. It's pretty standard for a cash rate for medicine and it can be missed. Pay what you owe them, then fight the remaining bill. If it was $100 per month for 19 sessions, give them their $1,900. Then you say, that's how much we agreed upon, and go from there. That shows you're honoring your side. Never ignore a bill and just let it go to collections. That's when the other side starts to harden up and think you're just refusing to pay your debts. If you owe them something, always pay them what you owe them.
Thank you. I'm less in the panic zone, thinking clearly. Hopefully they'll get back to me soon with my follow-up questions.
It's understandable to freak out when you get a bill for $7K and you're expecting $2K. I'm glad you came here and worked it out before just going anything rash. Stay calm and be firm that I am a cash-paying patient. The doctor said it was $100 per visit. Key is always stay as calm as possible, or at least don't get angry with them, since that shuts people down. I deal with accounting, not for medical billing, because that messy slop would have me on medication. Errors are normal. Fixing errors are normal. But most of us understand that patients or consumers in general aren't aware of how billing works or how our specific billing works, etc. So they'll work with you. I hope you're pleasantly surprised at how this may be very easy to sort out.